When I shared that I was pregnant, my mother laughed. She leaned back, swirling her glass of cheap red wine, and let out a sharp, mocking sound. "Your sister just closed on her new house," she sneered. "That is the only good news today." My father did not even look up from his plate. He just smirked. "Great," he muttered. "Now we have two burdens." I swallowed the burning knot in my throat, pushed my chair back, and stood up. I turned my back on their grinning faces and walked straight out the front door. As the brass latch clicked shut, every shred of blind loyalty I held for my blood relatives snapped completely in half. I sat in my car for hours, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. By 12:03 in the morning, the hot sting behind my eyes burned away, leaving nothing but ice. They looked at my unborn child and saw a punchline. They looked at me and saw a stepping stone, so my golden child sister could maintain her high society lifestyle. They had no idea they just handed me the match to burn their fake reality to the ground. My next move changes their lives forever. My name is Louisa. I am 33 years old, and I manage a local credit union. I spend my days tracking down financial discrepancies and protecting other people's money. I know exactly how to spot a lie hidden in a spreadsheet. But for the last 6 years, my most exhausting project was keeping a solid roof over the heads of the two people who just called my child a burden. 6 years ago, they were drowning. The bank was circling their house like vultures, mere weeks away from tossing their furniture onto the curb. They panicked and played the victims. I emptied my life savings, pulled strings, and quietly bought their foreclosed house for $150,000. I put the deed in my name. I let them live there without paying a dime in rent, covering the property taxes, water bills, and maintenance disasters out of my own pocket. They paraded around town, bragging about their brilliant financial recovery. They stood up in church and testified about their incredible budgeting skills, soaking up the admiration. They never once mentioned my name. I kept my mouth shut and carried the massive weight of their survival on my shoulders. They broke me then. But today, I am the one holding the hammer. To understand their delusion, you have to rewind a few weeks before that miserable pregnancy announcement to my father Justin's birthday. I stayed up all night and cooked an entire feast from scratch. I paid for premium cuts of meat, expensive wine, and a custom cake. I hauled it all over to their house, my property, and set the dining room table perfectly. The doorbell rang. As the extended family poured into the foyer, I stepped forward to greet my aunt. My mother, Maynard, intercepted me. Her manicured fingers dug into my arm, and she shoved me backward toward the swinging kitchen door. "You reek of grease," she hissed. "What are you doing out here in the living room?" "Stand in the corner. Do not embarrass your sister." I stumbled back into the sweltering kitchen. Through the gap in the door, Maynard raised a crystal wine glass, clinked it loudly with a spoon, and smiled her fake, radiant smile. "We are just so blessed," Maynard announced to the room. "Look at this incredible spread. Marilna hired a 5-star chef to cater this entire party for her father. She is the only real mother in this family, and she still finds time to spoil us." Marilna stood there, holding a glass of expensive champagne I bought, and accepted the loud applause. She gladly took credit for every drop of my sweat. I stood over the kitchen sink, swallowing the humiliation burning in my throat. I pulled out my phone and checked my banking app. The quarterly property tax payment on the very floor they were standing on had just cleared my account. They treated me like a peasant, but the entire kingdom was resting squarely on my back. My husband Anthony and I were moving forward with our dream of adoption. The agency required a rigorous financial background check. A notification pinged on my phone on a Tuesday afternoon. One glance at the screen confirmed a nightmare: my pristine credit score was destroyed. A $25,000 maxed-out credit card sat on my record. The billing address matched my parents' house. Opened using the childhood Social Security documents Maynard kept in her lockbox. A quick trace mapped out the betrayal high-end patio pavers, a luxury pool contractor, and custom landscaping. Every dollar funneled directly into the lavish new pool addition at Marilna's mansion. Maynard committed a felony, stole my identity, and risked my chances of becoming a mother just to secure her status in Marilna's wealthy social circle. I drove straight to their house, marched up the steps, and pushed through the front door. Maynard was sipping sweet tea at the kitchen table with my aunt and uncle. I slapped the printed credit statements onto the wood. Instead of shrinking in guilt, her face twisted into a mask of pure arrogance. "I carried you in my womb," she spat. "If I use your name a little bit, will you die? Your life belongs to me. Consider this small change as payment for raising you." Heavy footsteps shook the hallway. Justin stormed in, took one look at the papers, and turned a dangerous red. "I am the master of this house," he roared. He lunged forward and shoved hard against my collarbone. The force threw me backward, my hip crashing into the sharp edge of the buffet table. I braced my hands against the wood, catching my breath. I looked over at the table. My aunt and uncle watched Justin assault me. My aunt let out a sigh and took a sip of her tea. "Just endure it, Louisa," she murmured. "Do not make a scene. He hit you once. It will not kill you." The lifelong fog of familial obligation vanished completely. I looked at the thief, the brute, and the coward. This was a cult of abuse. I gathered my belongings, locked eyes with my mother, and walked out. They armed me with the clarity I needed to destroy them. I parked in my driveway. Instead of begging for an apology, I swapped my role from grieving daughter to ruthless credit union manager. I booted up my laptop. Going to the police would give them time to spin a narrative, so I targeted their primal fear: public financial ruin, utilizing standard banking templates. I drafted a highly realistic email of formal notification of a pending tax and credit fraud investigation regarding a flagged $25,000 transfer. I sent it to Maynard and Marilna's inboxes. 42 minutes later, my phone vibrated. I hit the screen record function. "Louisa, you need to fix this right now," Maynard demanded, her breath frantic. "Some ridiculous government automated system flagged the pool money. They are threatening a full audit. You have to call them and tell them it was a mistake." I kept my voice small. "I do not know what you want me to do, Mom. It is a federal crime. It is $25,000 stolen in my name. The bank is asking for police reports." Marilna snatched the phone. "You are signing an asset authorization form." Marilna snapped. "You will backdate it. You will claim the money was a voluntary familial gift. Do you understand me? You will sign the paper, and you will make this go away." A full confession to felony identity theft and attempted extortion, captured in crisp audio. "I cannot afford that massive debt." "Marilna," I whispered, "Anthony and I are trying to adopt. This completely destroys my background check. We will lose the baby. Helping the family is your duty." She snarled. "You do not have kids. If you do not give me money to build my house, are you taking it to the grave? Stop being so incredibly selfish. Just sign the damn paper." I fed them exactly what they wanted to hear. "Okay," I murmured. "Okay, I will sign it. Send me the document. I will bring the physical copy to your housewarming party this Saturday. Make sure you wear something nice. Do not ruin your sister's special night with a sour face," Maynard said, before the line went dead. I saved the audio file to 3 secure cloud drives, printed the bank traces, the deed, and the transcripts, and placed them into 2 leather portfolios. The country club mansion buzzed with wealthy networking. I stood near the massive granite island with Anthony. Maynard clinked a spoon against her glass, quieted the room, and wrapped her arm around me, projecting her voice toward Marilna's CEO husband. Friends. Family. Maynard cooed. We just want to thank our sweet Louisa. She brought the family support papers today to help her sister finalize the pool construction. Family is everything. Is it not? We always take care of our own. She shoved a gold pen into my hand to trap me in a public spectacle. I dropped it onto the granite. I stepped away, walked over to Marilna's husband, and handed him the first portfolio. This is a housewarming gift, I said quietly. You should read it immediately. It concerns the financing of your new pool. He opened the flap and scanned the police report, the bank trace, and the printed transcript of his wife. The color drained from his face. He looked up at Marilna, who was suddenly frozen. What is this? He demanded. You committed identity fraud. You stole from your sister to build a pool in my house. The wealthy crowd froze. I turned back to Maynard and Justin and slid the second portfolio across the counter. The second document is a 30-day eviction notice, I announced, projecting my voice. I bought your foreclosed house 6 years ago. You have been trespassing on my property, living on my charity, while stealing my identity. Marilna's husband threw the portfolio onto the counter in disgust and stepped away from his wife. The country club president walked straight out the front door, and the investors immediately drifted toward the exits. The social execution was flawless. Justin's face turned purple. He lunged toward me, roaring obscenities. Anthony stepped smoothly into his path, forcing Justin to stumble backward in cowardly defeat. I gave my cowering aunt a cold smile, took Anthony's hand, and walked out. The police arrived 20 minutes later, called by Marilna's husband. Justin and Maynard packed their belongings in public disgrace, permanently evicted. Marilna's husband filed for divorce. Because of an ironclad prenuptial agreement, she walked away with nothing. I blocked every panicked apology from my enabling relatives. 6 months later, Maynard was formally convicted of felony identity theft. The judge sentenced her to 3 years in a state correctional facility and ordered complete restitution of the $25,000, plus $14,000 in punitive damages. Justin, broke and legally evicted, moved into a cramped apartment, working graveyard shifts to pay my civil judgments. Marilna was blacklisted by her wealthy neighbors. 8 months after the trial, an envelope arrived from the State Department of Corrections. Maynard wrote that she was just doing what a mother had to do, that she forgave me, and expected a visit by the holidays. I felt absolutely nothing. I fed the pages directly into my shredder. Complete indifference is the ultimate victory. Anthony and I welcomed a healthy baby boy into our home. Our dining table is filled with a chosen family that respects the word no. Nobody demands my bank account passwords. Nobody calls my existence a burden. If my story feels uncomfortably familiar, you need to understand the psychology of toxic families. They view your independence as an unforgivable act of violence. Enablers will always demand that you stay quiet because your silence keeps their boat from rocking. Cowardice in the face of abuse is just abuse with a softer voice. Rule number 1: blood does not make you family. Respect, safety, and loyalty do. Sharing a genetic code does not obligate you to finance someone else's dysfunction. Rule number 2: forgiveness without accountability is simply self-harm. True peace requires real justice, and you are allowed to demand it. Rule number 3: the quietest person in the room is the most dangerous when pushed to the absolute edge. If you are quietly paying the bills and shrinking yourself so your family can feel big, ask yourself what would happen if you simply stopped. Drop a comment if you have ever had to execute a hard eviction on toxic family members. Subscribe to this channel to keep building your strength. You are not their burden. You were their foundation. It is time to stop repairing their broken roof and start building your own beautiful house.